Hey there. Welcome to episode 3 of the Boob Report podcast, powered by Helix Interactive. Today, I'm hanging out with Heidi Leist, owner and CEO at Lemongrass Spa Products. She is also the author of Soul Soothing Stories of Cancer Survivors. She is passionate about providing families with natural and organic skincare and empowering them with financial opportunities. We're going to be talking about the ingredients in skincare products and what to avoid. Remember, knowledge is power, so let's get started. Yay, we are so excited, you guys. Today on this episode of the Boob Report podcast, we have Heidi Leist joining us. And I am super excited because I have known Heidi for years. And we met at boot camp up in Bailey, Colorado, and it just kind of grew from there. Heidi, I am so excited that you were able to join us today.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's a joy and an honor to be with you. I have valued our friendship from the very beginning, and you're exactly right. We met at a boot camp exercise class, absolutely loved it. We started connecting, and then once I heard your story and what was going on with you and the type of outreach we do here at Lemongrass Spa, of course, now we've been working together for a couple of years now and really getting out the message that there's so many resources available for women.
Yes, yes. So excited about that. Well, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is Lemongrass is a skincare product company originally. I know you guys are expanding on different things, but it is at my journey with breast cancer, I learned a lot about things, chemicals and things that are in our house. And it was a little wild to me to learn about skincare ingredients. So I would love for us to touch on that for a little bit, since you own a natural skincare product company.
Well, Michelle, thank you for asking me to be on because this is one of our missions. This is one of the whole reasons I started Lemongrass Spa Products in the very beginning, is because I became a label reader once I was pregnant with my daughter. Mm-hmm. And I very quickly realized there were so many chemicals being added to everyday products, whether that was food additives or products that I was using in my kitchen or my laundry detergent, but especially my cosmetics and my body care products. And what most people didn't understand, especially back then, was that the FDA doesn't necessarily regulate everything that goes into those products. While they are a watchdog in so many ways for food, not necessarily for skincare. Well, that's changed because of so many different organizations, watchdog groups, EWG, Skin Deep, all these resources that are now available. And then, of course, all the added testing that's done with products. Mm-hmm. So I'm just delighted to have the opportunity to share a little perspective from that aspect, and also to encourage women to get really involved and read the labels before they buy products.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I know the big one right now for me was parabens. I didn't realize how bad those actually are.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to watch your labels for things like methylparaben. If there's anything ending in the word paraben, you definitely want to avoid that because it is linked to breast cancer cells. Mm-hmm. So when that news broke years ago, companies really took notice. Not all, but many companies took notice and decided, wow, we need to go back and reformulate, clean up our products, and just make sure that this is not in the product ingredient deck whatsoever. So that's a great one to point out.
Absolutely. And I think for, a lot of this has been an amazing journey to watch, like you're saying, companies really step up and realize, you know what, shouldn't be using that. We should do this. And they're putting that on their labels, obviously cruelty-free, paraben-free, things like that. So tell us a little bit about your products and how you got started with Lemongrass.
Well, thank you for asking, Michelle. So our product line is sold through independent sales consultants, and we've loved that because it gives women and men an opportunity to not only have a business in their home, if that's what they choose, but also because we can really help people one-on-one, whether it's for their skincare needs, whether it's for body care. We even have baby products, and it's all mission-based, very healthy products. And we're, of course, very conscious about what we include in those product lines. So that's the way that we market our products. And I think also it really helps people with making sure they're comfortable before they make a product purchase. I don't know about you, but as a woman, I've gone to the store, made purchases, quickly realized, wow, I don't know that this is actually going to work for me. And when returning it at a store, there isn't anybody who's going to actually one-on-one walk me through the process of finding something that's going to be perfect, or shipping it, of course, from an online store as well, where we offer a little bit more customer service in that regard. But back to your question about how I got started, it's really became a label reader when I was pregnant with my daughter, and really decided I need to take a hard look at what I'm using, because I want to make sure that I'm protecting my baby from chemicals. And so that process was really interesting, because I learned, even though some things were labeled natural, or some things were labeled that looked like a natural ingredient, once you dive a little deeper and realize that there were so many other additives created during that process, it wasn't as safe as I had expected. And so just through research, we put together a very simple line of products. And I started with body polish and bar soap, as well as some body care products like bath crystals. And eventually it just grew. Every single season, we would come out with new products. And I partnered with experts in the industry, understanding how to create products that were more natural than what was available in the stores at the time.
Now, I seem to remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but and it could be a little bit of folklore of how you got started, but you literally started your company in your basement.
Oh, it's absolutely true. Whaley, Colorado, in my basement. That was our mini factory, as well as our distribution center. And for over a year, we operated out of my home, and we manufactured the products. We also had our UPS delivery person pick up and drop off at the same location. And I had several people that would come to my house and help me. Of course, we outgrew it very quickly and moved into a warehouse in Pine, Colorado. And we actually have our consultant care center still in that building. It's incredible. Since we've expanded, we've moved most of the operations to Florida for larger space and opportunities here. But at any rate, that's exactly how I got started. And so it's been a labor of love. My husband's been incredible throughout the process, as well as very instrumental people in the very beginning, like my mom. She and I worked together, and she helped me create a lot of the products. She was very heavily involved with that, as well as so many close friends there in Colorado to help us get started.
That is just such an amazing story to me. And it was very, I feel very lucky to have been able to follow you through all of that. That has just been to watch you grow and what you've achieved, and the people that you have working with you, the consultants. I think for me, because I know a couple of them personally, it's a labor of love for them as well. They're wanting to, introduce people to these amazing natural products, and what a life changer it can be to actually use those products.
Absolutely. People have noticed, especially so many people come to us with a skin condition, or they have a history with an illness, or they know someone with an illness or a history with cancer or something else, and quickly realize, I need to find the most natural products I can. Where do I go? And a lot of times people find us, and they notice a huge difference because of the fact that we don't use fillers. Everything is full disclosure on our labels. We've gone the extra mile to make sure that we're using non-synthetic ingredients, and it really is noticeable on your skin almost immediately.
Absolutely. Well, and even with that, I love the fact that you have such an amazing big heart, and there's always something that you're doing to give back to the community, to give back to a charity. Talk a little bit about how your company works with different organizations that you take a pride in dealing with.
We do a couple different things, Michelle. We always support our independent consultants in the type of fundraisers they offer. And because of the perks that they received and our commission structure and of course host rewards, they're able to give back to their own organizations in their local area. And a lot of times we'll partner with consultants and add on, layer on to whatever it is that they're doing. But also we have company-wide initiatives, and we do several throughout the year. Our pink campaign every October is always one of our biggest because the need is so great. And with the statistics, knowing that, 1 out of 7 women will be diagnosed with cancer is one of those things that really hits home for so many of us. And many of our sales consultants have actually walked that journey, much like you, Michelle, and have said, I want to get more involved because I want to help other women. I got through it. I want to help others too. And we've helped pave the way for that, not only with support emotionally, giving back to those organizations, connecting to them with resources, but then also having a product or two that they can start with that they really feel confident that they can use that's safe.
Right, exactly. And that was something that I discussed with another survivor on another episode, was that the statistics are pretty scary. It's actually 1 in 7 women in Colorado, but it's 1 in 8 across the United States, which is mind blowing to me because Colorado is one of the healthiest states, in the United States, and they have no idea why. So it's fascinating to me with those statistics. Well, now that we've touched on the pink campaign for October, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening for the pink campaign this year?
Oh, we are so excited, Michelle, because our hearts are behind these women and men who go through that period of time in their life. And you know what? I'm friends with so many thrivers, so many who have walked that journey and come alongside them and said, what would be important to you? And so one of the things the initiative that we ran last year was part of our pink campaign. And we came out with this pink healing balm. I'm going to hold this up because this is starting October 2021, again, pink healing campaign. And so we donate to local and national charities to help spread the word. And of course, your organization is one of the recipients of those funds during that campaign. So for every purchase, we're donating $2, split among 8 different organizations across the country. And I can drop those links for you as well. But especially because, Michelle, we want to support you and the women that you're personally involved with in helping support some of the resources that we want to make available to them. Oh. So it's a healing balm that we formulated that has it has calendula oil, it's all natural, and it has the healing essential oil of frankincense in it. And over time, when we were developing this formula, it really piggybacks off our bestseller, and it's called Healing Elements Balm. And we put together years ago what we call our Loving Care gift set. And it's comprised of 3 products: an organic nail balm, skin and nail balm, a ultra hydrating body cream, as well as a healing elements balm. And those products, because they're scent free, because they're so safe and gentle, many people who've gone through cancer treatments found that they were so helpful because natural ingredients, yes, of course, very important, but also because during treatments, there are so many skin issues that can happen through that process, whether it's chemo, radiation, a combination of both, and just your system being compromised during those treatments. And it really sometimes can show up with your skin. And so that soothing, calming, moisturizing in deck of ingredients has really helped people through that process.
I just love that thing. It's amazing. I was very lucky in the fact that I did not have to go through chemo or radiation, but the women that I've talked to and men that have had to deal with that, it is just such a traumatic experience for their body having to do that. And I know, the reasoning behind it, they're trying to do everything they can to save that person, but having that balm and just having something that you can rely on to help take away some of the pain from the skin issues is so incredibly important. And then knowing that it's safe to use, that it's natural. And it's just what you do is so, so amazing. And we'll have the links in the show notes after the episode for you guys to check that out. I highly recommend it. I started using this and it is so good. I can't even tell you, because I have dry skin anyway, but I can't recommend this enough for everyone. The Pink Healing Balm. It's amazing. Heidi, you guys just rock it with that.
Thank you.
Well, now that we're talking about that, the Pink campaign, Heidi is so involved in just giving back and working with people who have dealt with all types of cancer. And one thing I want to talk about, and I was very excited for you when this came out, is the book you wrote, the Soul Soothing Stories of Cancer Survivors. I have my autographed copy right here. Tell us a little bit about how you came to putting this book together.
I appreciate you asking, Michelle. This was an incredible project that I really can't take credit for. Yes, I helped compile the stories, but what came from the reason that this book was written in the first place is because we had so many women and men write to us thanking us for receiving a loving care gift set, and how healing it was, how reassuring it was that we had something to offer specific to them. And because of those letters, those handwritten notes, those cards of thanks, those emails coming in, we started collecting them, and we would share them in our consultant community and say, hey, we thought this would uplift your day. And we would share some of those stories and read about them. And so we started collecting all of those. And over time, there was a consultant who is also a book editor. And she said, you know what, Heidi? It would be amazing to compile and put them all in one place. And so that's how the book came to be. The whole idea, the concept was these amazing people, these cancer survivors who were writing stories about the impact the product had and how helpful it was. So we compiled the stories, we interviewed even more cancer thrivers, and we put the book together. And from a personal perspective, I knew so many people who had gone through some form of cancer, whether that was breast cancer, whether it was another form. I knew so many people impacted and knew that there had to be a way to share those stories. Number one, it is so encouraging when you can read or hear someone else's story that you can relate to. It gives you hope. It gives you inspiration. It makes you feel like I'm not alone. And that's exactly what we wanted to do with this book. My grandmother was a cancer survivor for years, and I saw what she had gone through as a young girl. She had had a radical mastectomy, and it impacted her in a way that I thought was absolutely remarkable because she had such a positive outlook. She was so encouraging to other women, and she never let it stop her. And because I was inspired by growing up around her and realizing, you know what? Women are number one, so encouraging of other women. And number two, they can absolutely overcome this and go on to do so many unbelievably amazing things in their lives, that showcasing her and her story was also a really big part of the reason I decided to pursue putting this book together. So you're going to find so many heartwarming stories in this book. My mom was a contributor, some family members, a lot of Lemongrass Spa Products consultants contributed their stories in this book. And so it is actually, such an amazing copy to give somebody. And one of the things I love too is that when you share this book with someone who's going through a cancer journey, it can really just brighten their day, give them an outlook that maybe, or a perspective that they hadn't considered before.
Absolutely. I've had it and I've thumbed through some of the stories, and I love how you have the different quotes, through the different chapters of the stories. And I love especially this one, some days there won't be a song in your heart, sing anyway, from Emery Austin. I think that is so beautiful. And you're absolutely right. And that's why I do what I do, is if there's one person, just one person that I can help with this, I've achieved my goal. So I just, there's so many people going through a journey, women especially, and we feel like we have to be so strong and we have to be there for our families and things like that. So I think letting them know that there are other women out there who are going through something similar, how they did it, what their experience was, the pain they felt, survivor guilt, all of that, just being very open and honest, it will truly help other women going through this journey.
100%. I couldn't agree more, Michelle.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I like I said, I can't say enough wonderful things about you and what you do, Heidi. It's just truly, truly amazing. Now, like you were saying, your grandmother had breast cancer, but you've had just experiences with other people. And how is that? I know it's, turned you into the amazing, compassionate, big-hearted person that you are, but when you hear from someone like one of your consultants or a friend that gets diagnosed, what is your experience on getting that news? I've always found that fascinating for someone to share when they get that phone call. What sort of emotional roller coaster do you go through when it's a family member or, a friend or a coworker?
Wow, that's a really interesting question. I think everybody goes through a whole array of of emotions.
Yeah.
First, it's always a little bit of shock, like, well, how can that be?
Mhm.
A little bit of, oh my goodness, what can I do to jump in and help? I think that's the place I go a lot of times,
Mhm.
much like you, Michelle. What can I do to help? How can I help alleviate that pain or encourage them that, listen, you can totally get through this?
Mhm.
What can I make how can I make that journey more comfortable for them? And of course, that's where our products come in. And that's a lot of times where my head goes, because that's my wheelhouse is,
Right.
oh, I know I can help them in this area of their life. But also just those reassuring, inspirational, motivational words to them, like, listen, girl, you've got this. God's got this. I think for me, there's so much spirituality that goes alongside that. And because of my faith, um, that's also a big part of what I do. Why I love what I do too is because I always feel like God has a hand in this.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had several interviews in different episodes with women who, they've circled back around, and it's been an awakening experience for them, and thing that they've relied on prayer and their faith, and every journey is different, and that is my goal for women. Is I want them to feel comfortable knowing that if they decide to go the chemo radiation route, we're going to have information for them. If they decide to go the more homeopathic natural route, we're going to have information for them. If they only want to go to support groups that are based in faith or some, have a religious aspect to it, I want all of that information to be available for women, because getting through this journey, you have to do what's best for you. It can't be what's right for anybody else. It has to be what's best for you. And if you want to pray, or you want to light incense, or you want to just climb to the top of a mountain and just have your conversation with God, whatever you want to do, if that helps in your healing process, do it.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
wonderful that you offer the different variety of resources, Michelle. I think that's just absolutely incredible. You meet people where they want to be met.
Mhm.
And that's what's so unique and individual to what you're doing. And I just applaud you for that, Michelle. That's incredible.
Well, I appreciate it. I know that there's so much information out there, and we want to make it as easy as possible for people. And that's what gave me also the idea to, launch the website, but then also too, to do this podcast and have amazing people like yourself join me so that we could share stories and really put information out there so that it's easier for women and men, caregivers, significant others, to have access to that information to really help their loved ones through that journey. And I'm so appreciative. I'm thankful every day that, I don't want to say that my journey was easy, but it was not as difficult as some women's journey. So in that aspect, I've turned it around, that I was given a gift going through this to be able to give back to other people and bring people like you together so that we can share this information and help as many women as we possibly can.
That perspective is so refreshing, Michelle. I just think that
Thank you.
what you've done to turn what could potentially be a negative into a positive. You're making lemonade out of lemons, all those cliches, if you will. But listen, that is the reason that people are going to be, so engaged with the process, for, going to your website, participating in the resources that are available, because it can be such a confusing process, from what I understand from people who have been first diagnosed, going through the what ifs, where do I turn now, and where do I get my best advice? Yes. And that those resources are really so important to those women and men going through that process.
Yep, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. Well, I am so grateful to you. I think, we've talked about quite a bit today, unless, I will make sure that we have the link for people to get the book, because I think, it is an amazing gift to give someone, like you said, who has been diagnosed. I know it's helped me to look through and read some of these truly amazing stories. And we'll be sharing links for Heidi where you can, contact her, or you can get to the website, find a local, consultant wherever you are, because they are all over the country, which is amazing. And Heidi knows that's my eventual goal, is to have the Boob Report website local in every state. We're getting there. We're getting there with the help of all of our supporters. We're going to get there. But Heidi, thank you so much for taking the time out to really, share your stories with us, share what an amazing, compassionate person you are. When you said yes to being on the podcast, I can't even tell you, I was so excited.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Michelle. It is always a joy and a pleasure working with you. I'm so inspired by how you are making such a positive impact in the lives of so many women. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, my friend. And we will have you back on soon. We just wanted to make sure we got you on and dropped our episode before October, so we could give people enough advance notice to know what was going on with the Pink campaign, and wanted to share that so that people could, jump on and give these gifts to someone who has possibly been diagnosed in their life. So thank you again. I appreciate it. And we will just sign off for now.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a blessed day.
Thanks. Okay, well, that was pretty eye-opening. Let's all be sure to check our labels going forward. A very big thank you to Heidi for joining us today. You can find out more about Lemongrass Spa Products on their Facebook page, Lemongrass Spa Products Corporate, and at their website, lemongrassspa.com. A very big thank you to all of you for spending time with us today. Be sure to like and follow us, and definitely share the podcast with your friends. Remember, you can become an active listener and support this podcast by clicking on the podcast link on our website at www.theboobreport.com. Thanks again, and take care.